morning, everyone. This is George, and I'm going to talk a little bit about stress. So, I found the accident of Air France Flight 447, which was a scheduled international passenger flight from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil to Paris, France, which crashed June 1st in 2009. So, this Airbus 330, it stalled and fell into the ocean. Um, all 228 passengers were killed. The final report describes the PTOT tubes were obstructed by ice 4 hours into the flight due to some bad weather, and it gave mismatched readings, which caused the autopilot to disengage. So the most junior pilot, Bonin, he essentially took control of the aircraft after 4 hours. The captain decided to get some sleep and get some rest, I guess. During this flight, um, so essentially what happened is Bonin had the stick pulled fully aft, or not fully, I guess, but he was basically making the airplane climb. And this didn't really make any sense for what he was trying to do. The black box and the recording show that the Airbus was screaming "stall, stall, stall" at him, but he was confused about the actual, you know, readings the aircraft was giving him, and by the time the captain came to see what was wrong, he tried putting the nose back down, but the aircraft had already slid so low that by trying to they weren't high enough to put the nose down in order to gain enough speed to keep flying. So Bonin was certainly stressed. So the captain was asleep. He had 2,900 hours, I believe, on the A330, but he was suffering from an enormous amount of, well, he was under a lot of stress. There were a couple stressors that were there. So one, I'm sure stressful just being in a storm with the captain not in the cockpit. That's stressor one. So stressor two, I would put as he only had 1 hour of sleep the night before. He commented that on recording earlier. So going off of what he provided, 1 hour sleep the night before, so he was tired. Also, it was commented Bonin seemed spooked by the St. Elmo's fire, and that's just a weather aberration that kind of shows up on flights or during storms during the equator. It just, causes things to glow. I suppose I've never seen them. So I think these stressors put together took away from his ability to assess what was happening in the cockpit and to make the appropriate inputs to keep the aircraft in the air instead of in the water. So, reading about these airplane crashes, is not a great time. So, uh, Professor B's kind of turned it around on us this week and wants us to discuss aspects of our own personality that may allow us to cope with stress or areas that make it hard for us to cope with stress. I consider myself a pretty good with dealing with stress. I looked at the 5-factor model, which talks about extroversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness, neuroticism, and openness to experience. Neuroticism is linked to burnout and higher levels of stress, and I don't think I'm very neurotic at all. I think any neuroticism that I have, I learned um, being around other neurotic people in the workplace. I am not. No one who knows me would describe me as a type A person. Um, Type A behavior consists of irritability, time constraints, competitive mentality, aggression, hostility, and ambitiousness. None of those. I mean, competitive mentality. I never. I mean, I was the guy who was overplaying any game at halftime. I didn't care who won. I was over it. So no, I'm not very type A. And all this stuff I think kind of helps me remain, cool and calm under stressful situations. And another personal attribute I looked up is LOC, the extent to which a person feels that he or she can influence and control events and situations. Internal LOC has been shown to be associated with several work-related variables, including improved motivation and commitment. People with active coping techniques, that is, people who look inward to console themselves, instead of people who look outward to comfort themselves, are less likely to be the victim of emotional burnout. So I would say my LOC, I am not I don't try to hold on to things and make you know I'm kind of, sometimes it's just Jesus take the wheel, you can't control everything. And yeah, I do think that I have developed a good number of internal coping skills. So yeah, I would say one thing that I could really work on is, because I'm not very type A. Sometimes things get away from me, as far as uh, procrastination. I could do better. Could be more snappy with doing things, because then I end up stressed out later on because I should have been doing the thing already. Anyways, this video's run long. I do apologize for anyone trying to watch it. Yes, thank you. I look forward to hearing from you.